Good morning. This is Dylan Jovine from Behind the Markets. Happy Tuesday. Today is December 24th. Tonight is Christmas Eve. Tomorrow, kids, presents under the tree, and the whole shebang. So very exciting in our household, especially when you have young kids. Those of you who have young kids at home or grandkids know that it is just the most exciting thing in the world. So today I wanted to continue our annual review and talk about Biotech Insider. And I've been going through the services one at a time. Yesterday I went through Behind the Markets, and today I'd like to review Biotech Insider. Remember, we have our track record professionally compiled by an economist named Dr. Conrad Mattern from Conquest Investment Advisory. He does all our track records, and he does this for some other publishers, and he does it for asset management firms all around the world. So he's the guy in the industry, really, who does this. It's a little niche he's carved out for himself. It's good and bad. It's like having a teacher grade your kind of work, which is annoying when you think you did better than you did. For example, there have been times when I thought we had a better profit on a trade, but he says, no, when you sent out that alert, the stock was trading at this instead of where it was then. Anyway, but you have to do it. If you want to play this game honestly, you have to do it, and that's just the game that we're playing. Anyway, so how did we do in 2024? It's like the tale of two cities. The good news is we averaged a 48.68% average gain on all closed trades. It's solid, obviously solid performance, but unfortunately, even in a market like this, it's near our 48.28% average gain from 2018 to 2023. We didn't really do better than we've done in the past 6 years. So we're in line. And I think a lot of that has to do with the biotech sector specifically. The year for us started out super strong. Those of you guys who've been around, you remember. We closed Immunogen for a 449% gain, Altimmune for 150% gain, Viking for 190% gain, Crystal Biotech for an 88% gain. So we came out swinging, guns ablaze. It's ended poorly as we've taken nice losses. We took a 57% loss on Alector in the past 2 months, 45% loss on Beam, and a 92% loss on Pacific Biosciences. That really hurt, frankly, because I've been holding on to that one for a while and kind of a believer in what they did, but got stuck in a bad merger and mismanagement and all these other things happened with that company. And this is what it is. But one of the things that is important to keep in mind about biotech stocks, and remember something, the year started out strong, a lot of money flowing into biotech, and it ends with a lot of money coming out of biotech. And you got to remember how it works. A lot of these small cap biotech stocks that we recommend, they're in like little ETFs. And when big money starts to run out of these ETFs or index funds, the index fund, if it has $1 billion, for example, of the ETF, and they own, let's say, 100 biotech stocks, they just start selling them when that money gets pulled out. And when RFK was nominated to be Trump's Secretary of Health and Human Services, basically money just fell out. It ran out of the biotech sector because of the lack of clarity. And we've just gotten our butts kicked in the past couple of months. But I like to keep a positive attitude. And I learned one thing as I've gotten a little bit older, and that's a little thing called perspective. And so we've averaged slightly over 48% ever since we launched the service. Every year on all closed trades, 48% since 2018. And that's pretty badass. That's pretty cool. The other thing I like to keep in mind is biotech investing is like venture capital investing. You either make a ton of money, like you see at Immunogen, where it goes up 49%, or you get your butt kicked, like we did with Pacific Biosciences, that goes down 92%. The idea, when you talk to VCs, they basically say that for every 10 companies they invest in, 3 of them go bankrupt, go out of business. 4 of them are middling, maybe they go up a little bit, maybe they go down a little bit. 2 of them go up above average, and then 1 of them is a really 10-bagger or a 20-bagger or something like that. And that's the math of professional VC investing. And the same math applies to biotech investing, because remember something, we're investing, this is very close to VC investing in a way, because for the most part, what we're doing is we're investing and we're recommending companies that are late phase 2, early phase 3 drug companies. And oftentimes, most often, they don't even have a drug on the market yet. These are basically people in a lab testing mice. They're a little bit beyond that. They're testing humans. There's a lot of risk when you're doing something like this. This is why we've had such good returns over the past 7 years, almost 50% a year, which is outrageous. And it's also why it's feast or famine. In the 7 years that we've been doing this, Biotech Insider, some years are just gangbusters and other years they're just terrible. I remember in 2021, we lost 4.7%. Our average return on all closed trades that year was down 4.74%. I remember 2020, the average gain was 18.91%. So we've had our share of pretty sour years that you could have just certainly down 4.74%. You could have kept your money under a mattress and you would have done better than that. But look, overall, when you look at the context of things, a 48% average gain basically for 7 years is nothing to sneeze at. It's quite a special thing, but we have good times and we have bad times. And I know those of you who are hanging on here, this is one of the tough times. Just hang tough. We've gone through these times before. It's like that movie Pulp Fiction when Samuel L. Jackson says to Ringo, who puts a gun in his face, Samuel L. Jackson says, "I hate to disappoint you, but this is not the first time I've had a pistol pointed at me." But it's the same kind of thing with bear markets and biotech. This is not the first time we've had a bad market, but we're just going to keep our perspective. We're going to keep our patience and keep trudging the road and doing the next right thing, and we'll work our way out of it. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday.